hear now from Fania Davis, who will tell us about process, an idea of restorative justice, how we could start to come together and heal the wounds that we have been hearing about and create a new system of governance, a new system of economics and law together that realizes some of the things that we're talking about. So thank you and welcome, Fania.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to open by acknowledging the ancestors of this land and acknowledging that we are standing on a colonized land. I'd also like to acknowledge all of you and who are visionaries and the organizers of this event who are visionaries and all of the officers of this esteemed tribunal. Excuse me too for reading. It's just we've got very strict time limits, and this is the best way for me to handle that usually. So I'm here to help begin a conversation about how we might use restorative justice strategies to address the needs and interests of all those harmed by the fossil fuel industry, not only human beings, but all beings. And I underscore begin, because this is a very new development in the field of restorative justice. Though restorative justice today is a rapidly expanding movement internationally, it is all really, anthropocentric. It's concerned with injustices to humans. And at the same time, RJ's roots are in indigenous teachings and values about all our relations, about our inherent interrelatedness with all of nature. So restorative justice's own roots in indigenous teachings invite us to expand our focus as restorative justice practitioners to include injuries to nature as well. Ubuntu is a Southern African philosophical concept that was popularized by Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu during the transition from apartheid to democracy. It was a watchword of the Restorative Justice-Based Truth and Reconciliation Commission, right? All of you know about that, right? Yeah, okay, good. Although it is most often translated as a person is a person through other persons, it is more correctly translated as a person is a person through all her relations. We are our relationship, and not just the human relationships. We are all of our relationships. That's who we are as human beings. So Ubuntu emphasizes interrelationality and interbeing with all of existence, and not just the human dimensions, which is a very, very small part of existence. Also, most people see restorative justice solely as a response to harm, right? We see it as something that we use to resolve conflict, right? Many people do. But in fact, it's more than that. It's a way of life whose goal is to engender relationships that promote flourishing for all of creation. So I'm a longtime social and racial justice activist, having been born and raised in the deeply segregated South during the 50s in Birmingham, Alabama. After about 3 decades of bellicose activism and 2 decades as a civil rights trial lawyer, duking it out in the courtroom, I ended up studying with healers in Africa as part of my own healing journey. After completing my PhD, I learned about RJ, and in 2005, I co-founded Restorative Justice for Oakland Youth. Let me give you a brief glimpse of what this work looks like today. In Oakland, considered one of the most dangerous cities in the country, instead of fighting, students enter the restorative justice room and ask for a talking piece to do their own peacemaking circle. Girls who are long-term enemies become friends after sitting in a peacemaking circle. 2 families walk into a circle feeling angry and end up embracing. Youth and police officers sit in a healing circle at a continuation school for juvenile justice-involved youth. Police and probation officers in the city of Oakland are now being trained in this healing way of being in restorative justice. The school district has adopted restorative justice as official policy. It is now in 30 schools. So that's just a little of what's happening, of the movement that's rapidly growing in Oakland. So RJ, restorative justice, is a worldview and a theory of justice. As a worldview, as I said earlier, its goal is to engender relationships that promote flourishing for all. As a theory of justice, it emphasizes bringing together all who are impacted by wrongdoing to address needs, responsibility, root causes, and to heal the harm to the degree possible and prevent recurrences. In schools, we not only use restorative justice after harm has occurred, but our goal is for 70% of our circles to be preventive circles and only 30% harm circles. Restorative justice is beginning to be applied to address environmental harm. So just a couple of cases we were able to find, not very many. There's one in Australia where a mining company destroyed Aboriginal sacred sites and sacred There is one case in Australia where a mining company decided to sit in circle with Aboriginal people whose sacred sites and Aboriginal objects have been destroyed. And the judge adopted the plan of that circle as the sentence. And then there was an ecocide trial. After that trial found 2 fictional executives from the oil industry were criminally liable for violating ecocide laws in the tar sands, the defendants were offered a restorative justice sentencing alternative. One declined and got 4 years in jail. The other accepted, and he sat in a restorative conference with all the harm parties to identify harms, needs, and responsibilities of every party involved. The earth was represented, Mother Earth was represented, wider humanity was represented, future generations were represented, birds, the ocean, all harmed had representatives. Just as children cannot speak for themselves, have guardians to speak for them in courts, all of the parties harmed were represented. So the sentence was accepted, I believe, by the judge, and I don't know if anyone here knows about whether all of the things that were agreed upon would be done by that executive were actually done. So we could follow the model of the ecocide trial. We could invite the oil executives from Chevron to sit in conference, but they would have to agree to take responsibility. They can't be forced to do a restorative justice process. And if they don't agree to it, then you'd have to sentence them in jail, I suppose. Sentence them to jail, as happened in the ecocide trial. So that is a model that we could look at, the ecocide trial. So in closing, ultimately, I think restorative justice in its most radical expression can help midwife a new evolutionary shift of the species into an era in which humans will no longer be entranced with ways of being and thinking that create domination, discord, and devastation, but will be present upon the earth in mutually enhancing ways that bring about healing and wholeness and holiness with one another and with all of creation. My dream is that restorative justice can help us move from an ethic of separation, domination, and extreme individualism to one of collaboration, partnership, and interrelatedness. Thank you so much.